Hey everybody, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson, episode 3 in our series on when it goes too far. We're going to talk about tech, wearables, things like that. And I know you and I will be on the same page on a couple things because we talk about it quite a bit, Adam, but I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on any current trends. I simply think that we can be a little over reliant on tech because we put a little too much faith in algorithms, and they become almost kind of a placebo in that, if we're just doing that one thing, if we're using that app, if that's tracking our macros this way, it just kind of leads to a little over reliance, and it lessens our actual organic input and maybe intuitively listening to our bodies and so forth. But would love to hear your thoughts on the different types of risks with that.
Yeah, I think that we marry into a lot of the value. And I even question how it's coming up with that value in the first place. With electromagnetic devices, I mean, how are they really measuring your HRV? How accurate really are these? And it's got to be taking your heart rate and dividing it into some kind of formula. What that is, I don't know. I also know that resistance in the body can definitely be swung by hydration and minerals, for a current to be able to be sent through your body. It needs that to fuel it to move through the body enough. So, people don't take that into consideration. But the bad thing is how much in consideration they take all the data they're getting back. I think for step counting, they usually work pretty flawlessly for the most part. I think they're pretty good with that. Beyond that, when you're looking at the HRV and stuff like that, I think it can be useful, but it's the context of when you use it. And we're probably not going to use it all the time. And just like we're not going to use steps all the time. And I think people really I've had people where they flip out about their data on their watch, but they're fine with going over their macros. And, when you start putting the larger importance on the minors, it's almost like a subconscious way of people to talk themselves out of getting the results that they want. It's like their excuse.
Well, interestingly, I did, and I mentioned this in a previous podcast. The placebo effect, when you think something is doing something for you, like I have this device and it's helping me do this. It could be like a waist trainer type thing, just to give a banal kind of example. But people tend to over rely on those things, and then they actually do less work. So there's almost a reverse effect to relying on something, because you do get a placebo effect in a negative way. But I think you really nailed it with the most important consideration, which is people who just aren't able to take that data with a grain of salt and say, it's one point of information. But if it's my scale, for example, let's get that net weekly average. If it's an in-body or a STIKU, let's say, well, even those have inter and intra-rater reliability issues. So let's make sure we're looking at averages over time. So I love data. Obviously, I love getting objective and accurate information on paper, but you just have to be a little bit even self-skeptical sometimes when there's reason to, and not let that completely run all of your decision making. It can't be one single item.
Yep, absolutely.
The irony of this is I have never had any kind of wearable. I don't have an Apple Watch or anything like that. But now that Google bought Fitbody and they've integrated Fitbody into a Pixel watch, I'm actually probably going to get one, because I do want to see how much value there is in those things like monitoring your sleep and so forth. So again, I mean, tech can be great, but it depends on how you're going to use it.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we will see you next time in Contest Prep University. We're going to start turning our attention to things like cardio and training, and when that can go too far.